Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Roman Reigns may have found himself facing a huge problem in WWE after Raw. The Tribal Chief has more than a few obstacles in front of him. Seth Rollins and CM Punk were set for a major moment on WWE Raw this week, as they seemed ready to come to blows. Before they could continue, though, they were interrupted by yet another Punk rival, Drew McIntyre. McIntyre said that he felt Punk was always going to be selfish, and he'd gone even lower than he'd thought possible. Punk warned McIntyre that if he approached him, it would take more than 15 staples to close his head. McIntyre was not talking to Punk. The star said that he meant Seth Rollins. Drew said that the two stars were very alike. Only Rollins admitted who he was and Punk didn't. The star started to argue, and Punk was done, challenging both men to fight right there. While Rollins and Punk were ready, Drew McIntyre was not. He quickly backed out. He said that there was a bigger problem with Roman Reigns playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. The Scotsman said that he was going to stop Roman Reigns. The only way this was going to happen was if he won the Royal Rumble. He declared himself for the match. With that, his mission was clear. He planned to stop Reigns from winning back the undisputed WWE Championship and finishing his own story by becoming champion again. The landscape of WWE took a seismic shift following a chaotic episode of Monday Night Raw, and at the center of the storm stood none other than the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. The undisputed WWE Universal Champion had been dominating the WWE for over 3 years, but the fallout from Raw hinted that even his iron grip on the company might be slipping. As the show closed, Roman Reigns found himself watching from a monitor in his private suite on SmackDown. The tension in his clenched jaw and furrowed brow revealed that the events of Raw had struck a nerve. The Bloodline's grip on WWE was being challenged in a way that Roman hadn't anticipated. And the problem wasn't just external forces, but cracks forming within his own empire. Raw's main event featured Seth freaking Rollins successfully defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor. But the real shock came after the bell. A returning Jey Uso, who had walked out on the Bloodline weeks prior, made his presence known by saving Rollins from a post-match attack by the Judgment Day. The sight of Jey Uso standing tall with Rollins, a man Roman Reigns has a long history with, was enough to raise eyebrows. But it was what Jey said after the cameras stopped rolling that set the WWE Universe ablaze. "I don't need the Bloodline anymore. And guess what? I don't need Roman anymore either." This declaration sent shockwaves through the locker room. Jey's alliance with Rollins signaled that he wasn't just done with the Bloodline. He was ready to wage war against his former family. For Roman Reigns, this was more than just another wrestler taking shots at the throne. It was personal. Jey Uso wasn't just a cousin. He was family. Roman had spent years grooming Jey as his right-hand man, his enforcer, and his loyal soldier. Watching Jey align with one of Roman's greatest rivals felt like the ultimate betrayal. Backstage, Paul Heyman tried to spin the situation as always. "Your Tribal Chief," Heyman began, choosing his words carefully. "This is just a phase. Jey is emotional. We can bring him back under our guidance." Roman's eyes narrowed. "Do you think this is just a phase, Paul?" He stood beside Seth Rollins. "He declared war on me. That's not emotion. That's rebellion." Heyman, uncharacteristically at a loss for words, nodded solemnly. Roman's problems didn't end with Jey Uso. While Jimmy Uso remained on SmackDown, his loyalty had come into question in recent weeks. The cracks in their bond were becoming evident. Jimmy's decision to superkick Roman at SummerSlam was still fresh in everyone's minds, and while Jimmy claimed it was out of love and protection, his subsequent actions spoke of someone torn between family and independence. Meanwhile, Solo Sikoa, the enforcer who had been Roman's most reliable weapon, was beginning to show subtle signs of doubt. Solo's silent demeanor made him hard to read, but there were moments, quick glances, hesitations during matches, that suggested he wasn't entirely on board with Roman's vision. "Solo," Roman said one evening during a private meeting, "I need you to stay focused. You're my last line of defense." Solo nodded but didn't say a word. The silence was deafening, and Roman couldn't shake the feeling that even Solo's allegiance might be slipping. As if internal turmoil wasn't enough, Roman also faced an onslaught of external threats. Raw's chaos had positioned Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and now Jey Uso as major players ready to challenge Roman's dominance. Cody Rhodes, still seeking closure after failing to finish the story at WrestleMania 39, cut a fiery promo on Raw. Roman Reigns thinks he's untouchable, but even the mightiest empires fall, Cody said. And when they do, it's not from the outside, it's from within. The crowd erupted, sensing that Cody was alluding to the Bloodline's internal discord. On SmackDown, Roman couldn't ignore the implications. Cody's words were a reminder that his problems weren't just about physical challengers. They were about the narrative of vulnerability that was being spun around him. Adding another layer of complexity was the Judgment Day. The faction led by Finn Balor and featuring Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio had been making waves on both Raw and SmackDown. Their constant meddling in championship affairs made them an unpredictable wild card. During a backstage segment, Damian Priest confronted Paul Heyman. "Tell your tribal chief that the Judgment Day runs Monday nights," Priest said with a smirk. "And maybe, just maybe, we'll start looking at Fridays too." Heyman, always quick to respond, countered, "The tribal chief is the undisputed head of this table. Raw, SmackDown, it doesn't matter. The bloodline is eternal." But Priest's laughter as he walked away left Heyman unsettled. Despite the chaos, Roman Reigns wasn't one to sit idly by. His mind raced as he formulated a plan to restore order. "Paul," Roman said during a tense strategy meeting, "we're going to remind everyone who runs WWE. Start reaching out to my contacts. I want allies, new and old, people who understand loyalty." Heyman raised an eyebrow. "You mean?" "Yes," Roman interrupted. "If Jey wants a war, he'll get one. And if Rollins, Rhodes, or anyone else thinks they can capitalize on this, I'll crush them too. The bloodline may be shaken, but it's far from broken." Roman's cryptic orders hinted at a potential recruitment drive. Speculation immediately began circulating about who might join the bloodline. Some fans theorized that Roman could look outside the family, possibly bringing in a dominant figure from NXT or even an unexpected legend. Social media was ablaze following Raw. Fans debated the implications of Jey's actions, Rollins' potential involvement, and whether Cody Rhodes could finally dethrone Roman. Jey Uso standing with Rollins was a mic drop moment. One fan tweeted, "This is the beginning of the end for Roman's reign." Others defended the tribal chief. "Roman always has a plan. Jey will regret turning on family." The uncertainty only fueled the excitement for the next episode of SmackDown, where Roman was expected to address the chaos. When SmackDown finally arrived, Roman Reigns opened the show with a rare solo appearance. No Paul Heyman, no Jimmy Uso, no Solo Sikoa, just the tribal chief and his titles. Standing in the middle of the ring, Roman addressed the WWE Universe. "Everyone thinks they have the answers," Roman began, his voice steady but cold. "They think the bloodline is falling apart. They think Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. They think they can take what I've built. But let me remind you all of one thing. I am not just a champion. I am the champion, the head of the table, the tribal chief." The crowd erupted into a mix of cheers and boos. And as for Jey Uso, Roman's expression darkened. "You chose your path. Now you'll deal with the consequences. I don't care if it's Seth Rollins. I don't care if it's Cody Rhodes. Anyone who stands with you stands against me. And anyone who stands against me will fall." The challenge was set. Roman Reigns was ready for war. But with the bloodline fractured and new enemies emerging, one question remained. Could the tribal chief survive the storm?